for Group A, we have Pain versus Millenium. Brazil looking to keep themselves in from this Group A here. Group B still has 2 teams to come through as well, versus the Koreans and the Europeans as well. So I'll have to see what today brings for us in light of tomorrow.
Well, right off the bat, actually, Millenium looking a bit aggressive. Everyone grouping in the same spot. They've been spotted, though. Let's see where the word comes out.
Oh, we actually haven't seen Wraith Ward be put down a whole lot in this tournament.
There's been a couple of them here, and they are making their way forward. Honestly, like, the thing is, they're a little bit afraid because they don't want to get the ward killed, so they zone Pain back far enough that they don't think they'll get the attacks off, and they put the ward down. One thing I actually want to point out, though, before we get into the lanes, is Anguish is looking to play aggressively. He opened up with Elixir of Fortitude and some potions, plus the ward to check for the jungle. So he's going to, like, just try to bully out probably Katarina, but whoever he's against, you're going to see Anguish play quite aggressive.
Well, it looks like they are going to be doing that swap out. We have Lulu and MF top, but everybody's now making their way towards the bottom, and 4 wards have been placed. Like you said, Freak, placed in the spots they aren't going to stand, because that's where you want to know what's happening. And they have all 5 members right now. Ooh. Their pink ward goes down, so they know they are caught. And there's going to be a hit onto Tabs. Lee Sin goes in. And they're going to just back out here.
Free damage is worthwhile at the very least, though. So they're happy to have that. Really, really good ward choice right here by Pain. They kind of they smelled the invade and saw it coming, and so you know, they put the ward down and made sure that nothing really bad happened to them. This is still pink warded though by Millenium. They could always show back up and clear that ward out a little bit later for 25 gold. They don't really need to. The jungle's going to be safe here, but it's 25 gold. You know,
hey.
25 gold, man.
25 gold he didn't have. So the lane swap coming out here, and it looks like Millenium taking a lot of damage going for these golems right now. But Fat Mama's also going to help on that red, so as Ezreal gets himself down to bottom, he won't have too much trouble, as the red-blue buff is also getting a little bit of assistance. But Kha'Zix's going very low on that. This could be kind of hard for them in the early part of the lane. He's actually already backing.
All right, yeah, he's going to do the same thing as last time, really, which was take the first camp down, just use only 1 potion, and then come back in at full life. This actually allows him to gank from full health with double buff. That normally isn't quite as doable on Kha'Zix, and most junglers in general, you take a bit of damage while jungling, so this gives him more overall sustain in the jungle, lets him just recoup about 300-400 health, and then just get back to the jungle with just more health ready to go.
Sir T just hanging off in the side. Looks like he is going to try to dodge his way out of this one, and he will make it out without being seen. Ezreal still by himself. No, down bottom there is actually Fat Mama coming out of the bush. We couldn't see him before. So they're going to get a good push onto Katarina. We've gone over that lane before in a 2v1. She's quite good at just farming under the turret and really being safe. But how's this Riven 2v1?
Riven's not the easiest 2v1 overall. Also good at last hitting on turret. Also has a shield. Is actually one of the better champions at dealing with these like 3-man tower dives. But being fully melee and not having easy consistent wave clear without being in range of counterattacks, it's very difficult to actually do anything here.
And I'm So Fresh is posting up on that right side of Tribush. You can just see offside the screen. Nothing going to dive in here, though. He is taking quite a bit of time. He is looking for the dive and possibly looking, since the lane is pushed, for that Lee Sin, but they're not going to find him.
Now, he was looking for the counter gank. That was a very smart choice. They did know that it's just very common when you 2v1 to look for that level 3 dive on the turret. It's quite common. It's very powerful when you go for it. And so just a very defensive situation there. Wasn't looking to tower dive the Katarina, was looking to defend Riven. So you're going to see the minion kills kind of going everywhere. The Ezreal so far right now from Millenium having the best chance of this one. But the turrets, that's really the thing you want to look for. This one on the bottom side, they're up against Pain, down to about 2/3, almost down to a half. And not quite as much progress for Pain up against Millenium.
T2 taking a little bit of damage as Mama beautifully focusing down pretty much all of his ability attacks, but the 9-10 potions bought out by T2 are just going to keep him well off in lane here.
Yeah, well, one thing you're seeing, though, is a lot of early aggression in the mid lane as well. And Nivea doing a very, very good job, landed a great stun, and it burned Tabs' flash. So he's in lane with only 2 potions and 1 charge left on his flask that'll barely put him back to full health. And you can see he's just sitting so far back. I'm surprised he's not using a potion. There he goes. Okay, so it's a game pause, and he's recalling back. So Tabs definitely not having the easiest time in this lane so far. He's down 5 minions. We saw him in this situation before, though, where he was up against Zyra mid, against Charu. And he had a really rough lane, actually ended up being down 100 minions overall, like, as the game progressed, but was still the huge playmaker for his team. Got his gold from champion kills, not from minion kills, and it worked extremely well for him in that game.
So the bottom lane being pushed out, as we look on the mini-map, or at least we look on the mini-map as you guys are seeing this, that gank was going to happen bottom again. I'm So Fresh read this from Lee Sin. He read the top one. He said, went back to buy. This is going to happen down bottom. And he's doing a great job at just kind of mentally knowing where Lee Sin is. They don't have any more wards on that side of the jungle. So this is all just I'm So Fresh being himself.
And he is just being so fresh.
So fresh.
He is being so fresh. And being just aware of what the other jungler is doing is incredibly important. We can't stress that enough, that being on top of it, and actually looks like the game is unpaused. We're back into this game here, guys. But being aware of the ganks and being aware for the counter ganks is incredibly, incredibly important as a jungler. Please try to kind of read the situations. You'll see some of these, in these matches here, you notice that, okay, it's that level 3 tower dive, the 2-on-1 when they get to the turret. That's a common gank. Being able to read those common gank signs is very important.
And now with actually seeing Lee Sin bottom, he chooses to go middle to hold off that minion wave that actually is being quite frozen here by Kami. Doesn't want to push it into the lane. There's not really one to roam as an Anivia anyways, but it seems like Kami is just going to be happy to stay here and wait for 6 before he helps his team.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see what Anivia ends up doing. If he gets Golem buff, he can actually clear out Wraiths over and over. Lee Sin is a jungler who doesn't actually want to sit in the jungle very much. He's looking for counter jungles. He's looking for ganks. He's trying to get his gold out that way, so taking away the jungle's not very difficult. And actually, Pain's going in here at the bottom.
And they are going in quite strong. It's going to be T2 going in, and this is what I was going to point out earlier, that these guys have a lot of just jumps, a lot of ways to escape quickly. And I feel that if Millenium can't get their fight initiations correct, Sir T and T2 are just going to bounce around taking damage, and the fight's going to go in their favor.
Absolutely. This highly mobile team with a lot of just periodic sort of damage reductions by putting on shields and healing up, lifesteal and things like that. That's incredibly, incredibly useful for these guys. And so long fights really go into Pain's favor, and we'll see that as the game progresses. If they keep up in gold, which they normally have been very good at doing throughout their games, their late game is, generally speaking, I feel, better.
And with this gank down bottom, Kha'Zix sees he can have some free time top at least a little bit as Lee Sin is making his way there. Anguish going quite hard, but they're going to see Kha'Zix pretty soon on this. Yeah, there it is. Mitt turns around to get some extra damage in, and that was a little miscoordinated there by them. They're taking some damage.
Well, Anguish was really trying to bait there, right? He had that red flask right there, a lot of bonus health from that. And he was trying to say, hey, come fight me, turn around, do battle with me, I'll stun you, I'll knock you into the air. I can always flash out and chug that flask at the end to get away. And he was trying to bait that so that I'm So Fresh could show up, leap, Void Spike, Taste Their Fear, all that kind of damage output. And Pain was not taking that. They're like, you're being way too aggressive. There's someone coming up. That was a very good read.
The Dorians for, looks like Riven is actually helping quite a bit as it's 27-18 in CS, and Katarina is forced to build the lesser items of a Warmogs off the start and just get Boots to come back the lane with 8 pots. So it's all about being safe, sustaining in that lane down bottom for T2.
But Pain, in the meanwhile, have a very good setup there at the top lane because this turret is all theirs. The very first turret of the game. 7 minutes 15, that's going to go to Pain. Excellent job by them. And the bottom turret, still at a third.
So, Freak, this kind of, the lanes are going to swap. This is going to give you an idea. They'll probably send Riven back top unless they just allow the AD carry to farm back there. But isn't that one lane actually got the Ignite going down?
Yeah, in the mid, a lot of damage onto Kami. And the thing is, putting him down to 50 health like that is the perfect play. Because if they egg him with an actual team there, they will kill him afterwards. And he's probably... If I'm Anivia, he used up 3 health potions. All right, if he's trying to not get egg, go back to full and stay in lane.
And as I was saying, with that turret drop, it was kind of different because Ez and Zyra did stay in that top lane. Is this going to be just knowledge for Riven to say, hey, they just did a 3 top? Is it going to be more of a 3 bottom for them now with Lee Sin? Should she just expect that?
The ganks, honestly, as people level up, it becomes easier and easier to do these like multi-champion dives. And anyone really is fair game. In fact, you're seeing Katarina up at the top lane, Lee Sin's nearby. The thing is, though, is that, so right now, everyone on Pain is pretty much accounted for. They know Anivia has no mana and can't be useful here. They know there's 2 champions at the bottom lane, and they're not going to, leave that anytime soon. So, and of course, they saw those 2 top.
Ooh, a nice dodge there on the Sonic Wave. They can continue to go in on this fight. A great true shot barrage hits Cat. T2, can he get the reset and jump back out? No, he goes down. A failed attempt here. If he can't hit it, he misses the Q again. Can they continue to go? I'm So Fresh coming in, doesn't get the assist, but does help Mama stay alive.
That is just so unfortunate. I mean, it was a great job by Millenium. Thought I'm getting away from that one, but, oh man, MIT taking quite a bit of punishment as well. But that is basically why you have to focus the AD carry, not the support, because the support can toss spells as he runs, and generally speaking will survive, or even if that person dies, will still put all the abilities out there and be useful. An AD carry, they have to sit there auto-tagging to be useful, and if they're not running away from you, they get full damage output.
So that lane was, a victory for Pain top. They were able to crush it down, almost get a kill off of it as well. But now they've just lost that, and they have a second-tier turret now having aggression on it. Kha'Zix right on the outside, misses that jump in. So close from just shredding T2's health there.
And basically now you've got, right now, the early game is looking amazing. Just absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh, Angus, so much punishment. Won't quite go down, but the early game is looking great for Millenium overall.
They're going to push through this. I don't know why Angus is backing right there. They are very low. But turret after turret going down here, Freak. See Wukong backing in mid, trying to just taunt Anivia there. And it looks like they are going to be able to grab this turret slowly but surely as the minion wave comes up on it.
Exactly, and this is really why you lane swap as soon as you take that turret down. Because your opponents have to react to your lane swap. They have to say, okay, you've brought Misfortune and Lulu down to the bottom lane. They've got to put their own sort of duo lane there, otherwise they risk losing that turret as well. Now, by leaving the duo lane up top, it allowed, or by putting the duo lane up top, it pretty much allowed them to finally push down the top turret there, but basically, you're going to have a 2-to-1 turret lead pretty soon. And of course, as I say that, Millenium, of course, has put their duo lane down here to survive that.
Yeah, I was going to say the turret didn't go down after all, slowly but surely, and it's actually being pushed back out by Cretan. Cretan could find MF with a Mystic shot there, but he's actually just going to true shot the wave and still keep her there, so he's preventing her from backing. MF right now has the BF sword, so they're scaling with that 8 or with the damage rather. It's not like they're in any portion where they have to force back here.
This is a really tight situation though, because Ezreal has a gigantic gold lead over her, about 1,000 up, and you'll see something get completed way before Misfortune will.
That true shot barrage usually, put off. It can be 1,000 nuke burst by the end of late game, and that is absolutely huge. And if Ezreal can reach that before the end of late game, that pretty much takes a Misfortune out of the picture, especially with their long-range ultimate. Dragon going to be contested here, Freak. The wards are down.
But Millennium's got too good a position here. They can't go in without taking a Zyra ult and losing it out, so not a single chance. Fatmama takes some damage. It's a bit painful, but the positioning, we've seen sort of Dragons over and over by the winning teams. They either pick someone down so it's a 5-on-4, or they just have the positioning and say, don't walk through a Zyra, you'll lose.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see the way champions can really change the positioning on that fight as well. Usually it's the default pull it out of den, it's way easier to escape, but like you said, they closed off the entire thing. So it's very good mentality by Millenium rather, to just play this one slow, calm. They have 2 kills, they have a 2K gold lead. It's nothing huge, but it's an advantage, and they're going to start working that.
Exactly, and this kind of gives them the breathing room to start taking these outer turrets. I think we're going to expect to see 3 outer turrets dead. Unless you have to fight against a Nivy with blue buff, they're going to have a good chance really pushing the outer turrets here.
The grasping Rube be a good disengage here. There it is, on to 2. There's I'm So Fresh, but it's too close to the turret, and he just gives a little harass.
But they still have not a numbers advantage overall, but they're ahead. And actually
that
in the mid
turret
lane
won't be any help. The mid lane actually onto Anivia, very, very low there, and they both back off. Once again, a sliver of health for each.
And Tabs kind of afraid of that one. Honestly, I really like this Anivia play here. He's up 26 minions and has been bullying him back constantly. Tabs with no summoners up right now. Kami has flash still, and I'm pretty sure the egg he does. So that mid lane is absolutely going to Pain's side, and this is kind of where I think their lead has to come from, because every other lane is behind.
Forcing out into mid. Yeah, it looks like Pain wants to push that. We just saw Kami actually trying to bait out Tabs into that fight again as T2 sat on the backside. So they're trying to pull little tricks. They have their head in this game. They said they rallied just before this, a little bit of reunion for the team to discuss what happened in the game versus Meet Your Makers. And with that same play style, as you heard the host say, they kind of have not an advantage, but an edge going into this. They know to play safe. They know there will be aggression, but right now they're not taking to it. They're going to try to grab their blue here, but here comes more aggression.
This is good for them, though. Anything in the jungle is amazing. That wall, he would have had leap anyway, but that wall is the kind of things you will see in the jungle. Fights in the jungle are just going to absolutely help this Brazilian team here. When you have a Nivea on their team, Crystallize just makes things crazy. You can never count a Nivea out of a game ever. In almost any game, we've seen ludicrous comebacks due to a Nivea being able to stall games out, and especially fights in the jungle will be so difficult for Millenium to manage.
And I think Pain has to figure out what to do with what's happening in mid, because Ezreal's farming down by himself bottom verse 2 without taking any damage. There is too much map control for Millenium right now.
It's very true, basically. The onus is on Millenium to make the pushes happen, and they're ahead, and so they should, generally speaking, be able to do that. The difficulty is just that they're against champions who are really good at sort of dealing with that. If they push mid, they're against a very freshly blue buffed Anivia with Chalice and Fear of the Goddess. So even if blue ends, he's got a lot of mana to go from. And then even at the bottom lane, Ezreal's ahead. He's got the Bloodthirster, but the Bloodthirster is there on Misfortune as well. The only difference is Berserker's Greaves, which matters, but not that much in a one-on-one.
Oh, this could be Mama going down here, rather. He is going to get Tempest. The cripple goes down, but I think it's too far. Q misses once again. Can they go back on this fight? The reinitiation, the shields are just too much, but they look to keep pressure here. They don't have anybody else coming from anywhere around the map, but look how safe they still feel in lane.
They do, and here comes Lee Sin around the side again. Problem is Creatine has Flash and Barry. They landed on the Mama, though.
There's the kick to flash over, and they're going to waste quite a bit on him. He still has that ultimate. A very nice safeguard is going to keep Lee Sin out of his crowd control, and it looks like there may be a fight going down for their red as well.
That was a beautiful...
maybe not.
No, they've got complete control there. 3-on-0, basically. Sir T played that absolutely amazingly. The flash kick to put him out of range.
Oh, man, Cretan just missing the true shot barrage. The shield comes out. Can they turn it around? Is it enough? Lulu will pick up the kill, but a great 1-for-1 there.
That, I think, actually goes, honestly, in favor...
Or 2-for.
Yeah.
The previous.
Yeah, because they got the kill before. That actually goes in favor of Pain. Misfortune almost got as much gold as Ezreal did, because you get half credit for an assist, and half credit of 400, I think it was 432, is pretty close to 300 you get for a kill itself, so that was actually pretty nice there.
I'm So Fresh trying to put some pressure on in the jungle, and we also have Anguish and Tabs. These guys are a roaming powerhouse right now. They have not been in their lanes since the last time I called it in mid when they were pushing in Ezra's bottom, which was probably about 4 or 5 minutes ago. These guys are trying to control every aspect of the map right now. Red buffs, blue buffs, and dragons are also going in their favor.
And that's kind of what's happening here, right? Is again that sort of mid-game, early mid-game control.
Right.
Is in Millennium's favor. They have the gold lead. They've got a lot of really good early mid-game champions.